Uri Bergmann. I'm the past president of the EMDR International Association and the author of the book Neurobiological Foundations for EMDR Practice, book which has also very nicely been translated into Portuguese and Spanish. I'm very happy here to speak on behalf of White January and Mental Health Awareness Month. And I would specifically like to talk about the epidemic of PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, in the world. Many of the statistics are showing that post-traumatic stress disorder is probably the largest epidemic that is happening on the planet. It is often underreported and skewed by statistics and onset criteria, which basically often make it seem as if only 15% of the world is suffering from trauma. But it's important to understand that much of the political strife in the world today is related to the policies of colonialism that have been with us for centuries, where 5 countries basically ruled the world, enslaved it, traumatized it, and time itself has not really removed any of these problems, although many people would like to believe that they have. And so if we reflect on what's going on in the world, what used to happen in Northern Ireland, for instance, what is happening in Africa, what is happening in the Middle East, what is happening in Eastern Europe post the Iron Curtain. All of this is basically cycles and cycles of trauma. And then after colonialism, there have been reprisals, and this cycle of hate and revenge has just gone constantly back and forth and basically continues to persist. And we see, with very few exceptions, for instance, like the wonderful changes that have happened in Northern Ireland, is that the world continues with all of this. And what also needs to be appreciated, if we sort of zoom back in from the macro to the micro, is that all of this takes place in familiar situation, where it's the same history that's being carried on from generation to generation, which then causes its own cycles of emotional, physical, sexual abuse, in less severe situations, attachment disturbances, and basically all of this contributes to a breakdown in different ways and different levels with respect to the mental health within the world. And we need to understand that time doesn't heal these wounds. Bessel van der Kolk has talked about the fact that our history is written in blood, and we need to try to not forget that and to accept that, and so we can understand what is happening around the world. And then we could zoom back in and see what is happening within families. And all of this basically causes some kind of disturbances, deteriorations, or out and out pathologies and difficulties in terms of world mental health. Other than that, I would like to wish this program all the best in terms of what it's trying to do, and say to all of you all the best.